Oh, yeah, that means Midway Radio is back.
There we go.
It's your boy, Carlos. And hey, with us this week, we have a spicy intro. Okay. We have someone that we all know and love.
What's happening? What's happening, everybody?
Y'all, Cochise.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Midway Radio. Midway Radio, that is a lot like winning a game of Uno. But instead of just one card, we have one DJ Sean Doe. That crowd is rowdy. We got to keep them.
It is.
You tell them to calm down now.
So as you can tell, we are running on a skeleton crew, but that's cool because we got a lot of geeking out to do. And finally, we're not going to have little disruptive ass DJ Risky Business be cutting people off and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What's up, Cochise? What's going on, man? What's new?
What's new right now is me and my boy Cochise have a podcast of our own.
Snap! What the hell made you want to do such a fool thing like that?
That's right.
Well, you know, Kaz and I share a lot of similar interests when it comes to like the comic books and the nerding out and all of that. So, you know, we decided, hey, let's give people our opinions that they didn't ask for. And we have decided to barge into people's eardrums and give our perspective on things. So, you know, for us, it's all about the culture, both hip hop and comics. It's all about, you know, freedom of expression, free to be you. And we just like to have fun. So, you know, we're the Fly Nerd Group. That's what we call ourselves. We're on all of the frequencies. So you can find us on Google Play, Apple Music, Spotify. I think it's Transistor FM. We're on all of that. If it's a place that has a podcast, we're on it. There's a new episode should be dropping at least end of this week, beginning next week, and it's going to be all about Spider-Man.
Oh, dope. So what's that show about? Just like comic books and movies?
Yep, comic books, movies, music, things that pretty much anything Kaz and I want to talk about. Like we had an episode where we talked about both the movie Brightburn and the Wu-Tang of Mics and Men documentary.
I just watched Brightburn.
Man, Brightburn is a great villain story. Great villain story. It's we've all seen a billion alternate takes on Superman. So it's kind of that, but it's done in it's a good thing. It's a good way. So I highly recommend it. It's worth the 90 minutes because it gets to the point too.
It does get to the point. I watched it and I was just like, well, what's the difference between him and just some regular kid having superpowers and getting mad? Like he's like a suburban white kid. Like I can see a suburban white kid not even being an alien, like just being a white kid. Like, oh,
just being a jerk.
I should just kill people because they're not agreeing with what I'm agreeing with. Like I can see that. So while I'm watching Brightburn,
that's not even hard to like.
Yeah, like on some real shit.
That happens.
It happens. That just happens. That just naturally happens.
Them kids don't get their way. They don't know how to handle it, so they're going to shoot up a place.
Yeah.
How is that different?
Brightburn.
So
how is that different?
I guess the difference is it wasn't that he wasn't getting his way that made him snap out. There was part of his alien heritage drove him into it, pushed him into it.
So alien.
That's real too.
So you know, pretty much like, you know, he had a loving household. Moms and dads would give him everything, but then when his powers started to come up and the little alien voice got in his head and was telling him like, "Hey, conquer this planet," he set about the mission of conquering the planet.
Yeah, okay.
Brightburn.
Jump on some goofy shit. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. Meanwhile, I can't wait. Meanwhile, I can't wait for tomorrow because tomorrow's half off theater theater tickets, and I'm gonna go see Spider-Man. So I'm so over here talking about what is it, Breitbart?
Brightburn.
It's
Bright,
Brightburn.
not Breitbart, not Breitbart. We will not publicize that.
Breitbart. No,
Breitbart needs a bright burn.
Cochise. So
I need to tear that place apart.
How many episodes have you guys done?
We've done 4.
Nice.
4 episodes. Yeah.
Baby podcast. Look at that.
I know.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff to look forward to there, sir.
That's the goal, man. That is the goal. I enjoy doing it, so I'm gonna do it until it's no longer fun.
So,
like, give it a couple weeks. I'm teasing.
So we here at Midway Radio, we talk to cats that is special to Chicago hip hop, and it's your show. So, what part of the element do you represent?
I am a lyricist. I'm an MC. Okay. That is my calling. I just recently though dusted off the hands and started touching the tables again. I'm no Shondo, but I'm
who is
I'm that friend that you would call if you were doing a wedding and you was like, Sean, I need you to sit here for like 20 minutes and play these records while I take a break and eat. I'm your man. I'm your pinch hitter right now.
I fuck with that.
I
remember this.
Yeah,
I can blend, but and I keep it grooving, and that's where we at right now.
Yeah.
that's where we at.
Well, that's DJing. So how long have you been MCing?
Oh man, since I would say officially 1991. I'll say officially 1991. The boom bap era had me firmly in its clutches. What
happened that slid you into that position?
I had all the albums that you would expect a kid in the mid 80s to late 80s. I had all the albums you would think when it came to hip hop, but there was one that stood out for me, and it was EPMD, Strictly Business. Eric and Parrish made me want to rap. And that was just it. That was just like while I used to kind of dabble with it as playing around with it in the 80s, like my name is Lil Sean, blah 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 blah. I used to mess with stuff. But then that album I was like, I want to do that. I want to make stuff that sounds like that. I want to write like that. And that took me into it. And then Tribe boosted me up even further once I got my hands on, of course, Low End Theory. So it kind of became an EPMD into Tribe De La type deal. And those were like my inspirations, and I just kept wanting to do it and kept writing. And I write all the time. I write this, like, I don't know how to stop writing. What's
the process? What's the process like for writing? For example, for me, like, if I'm drawing something, I have to do like some warm-up sketches. I have to look at some images and all this stuff. What's it like when you're writing a song?
For me, I tend to write in these weird little pockets throughout the day. So I used to just like a line would jump in my head. Like, so if I'm on the bus, the line's in my head. If I can't sit down and write at that moment, I just keep saying it to myself until I get where I can write it down. And then from that, I tend to piece everything together and say, oh, I think that will go good with this that I wrote the other day. And then that'll go with this. And then I just kind of start connecting them all. I'm one of those guys that I don't need a beat to make the rhyme work.
Mhm.
I actually tend sometimes some of my recordings, I've already had the lyrics and then I just sculpt the way I flow it to the beat instead of letting the beat dictate what the
Mhm.
song is. Now there are moments where I hear a beat and I'm like, yeah, that beat, this is making me feel this vibe, so I'm gonna write that.
Mm.
But I have like notebooks that are just like jigsaw puzzles of stanzas and bars that I would end up putting together into songs.
How many times have you thought of a bar and you're like, this is fire? And then when you finally write it down and you put verses before and after it, you're just like, oh, that's a glass of cold water.
Yeah, it happens pretty often. Like
Yeah.
like I'll get a one liner in my head and I'm like, oh, that one bar that sounds so dope, and I run home and write it, or I break out the notes app on my phone and jot it in it, and then I start trying to structure it all up, and I'm like, nope, that belonged in a vacuum all by itself. That was a punchline that needs to be at the end of something, or just said as I'm burning somebody, just not good in the song. So it happens. It
Yeah.
definitely happens.
So when you started to MC, okay, so you chose the element of MCing.
Yes.
How did you hone your craft?
At the time, there was these older cats on the block that were already rapping, and this is where it sounds like an '80s movie. They were already rapping, and I would try and rap with them, and they would say, "Y'all go home and don't come back until you can, until you can do this or do that or sound better." So I kind of made it a personal goal to out rap these guys. I made it okay, one day I'm gonna come out there on the steps and I'm gonna crush everybody, and that was that was my mode, and I took that, and that's kind of how the early stage of and then from that I never had fear spitting in front of anybody. So because I kind of felt like if I can make it past the guys on my block, everybody else is I can rhyme in front of anybody, because these are the people who know me, know my family, so if they want to get down on me, they had all the ammunition they could. So when it came to battling those guys, personal stuff was thrown out. Oh, we saw your mom's coming home at 2 a.m. in lingerie. We was slicing me, we was going for the deep cuts. We was going for the deep cut, oh, your auntie a crackhead and you know it. It was it was real. It was the real, because we knew all that. So I kind of felt like if I could battle them and if I could rhyme with them, and I could do it anywhere. And that's kind of where that kind of MC bravado started to take shape.
Nice.
On a similar note, and this goes for both of you, how do you have the conversation with people that don't understand the culture, right? So back in the day, I was trying to make cartoons of Playing the Dozens and stuff. But then you realize that the translation isn't quite, and for those that don't know, Playing the Dozens is all your mama jokes. So I'm animating your mama jokes, and there's a lot of people that didn't understand. That's all part of it, right? And I'm like, if you don't understand it, then it ain't for you.
Right.
But I grew up talking about each other's mamas. No one took it personally.
Yeah, I mean that was the rule of the day, is that when you have that certain, now you couldn't do it with everybody. It's you had your core group of people who you could snap with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They pop off on you, you pop off on them. But then when an outsider comes around, they try and jump in. Then it used to feel personal. Hey, you don't got no strikes talk about my mama around here. You know what I'm saying? Then you had cats ready to jump hard. But then your best friend the very next day I say the same shit about your mom. He would say the same thing. Remember that stuff he said? I think that about your mama too. And you laugh with him about it. But You know, you see how hypocritical it is. It's like just the other day y'all was whooping on somebody for doing it, but now you and him that was just the culture. That's what it was. Like we lived that and it was fun.
Yeah.
I think the term for it these days is bullying.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you can't even do it in jest. Like it can't even be solely in jest anymore. Like the dozens is something firmly entrenched in the 80s and 90s, and maybe if you get on Nick Cannon's Wild and Out, you can do it. But
Right.
other than that, like
what's his name? Wilmer Valderrama tried to have a show with that, and again,
yeah, he did.
I thought it was pretty funny, but
other people
there's a lot of folks that didn't understand.
So Carlos, your question is how do we explain the culture to people who don't understand it?
Yeah, like is it a situation like me? I'm like, if you don't understand that, it just ain't for you. Like, go do research and get back to me, right? Through the years, I get tired of explaining how I grew up and why a your mama joke isn't fight worthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you? And the answer might be, fuck them. I don't even care what they think, right? But how do you guys approach that situation? Like when you're trying to educate people about this culture?
Overall, I guess I have to read the temperature of the individual, because it's not a universal answer to that. Because how each person that you're going to deal with brings a different set of experiences. Some people may have more experiences. Some people may have less experiences. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to judge it by, you have to read the temperature of the room is pretty much it. So I guess how I would do it is that I just kind of see, okay, what are they really asking me? Do they really not understand? Are they trying to understand? Are they trying to understand for purposes of using it against me? Are they just really clueless and need to be held by the hand and walk through it? So I just think you have to take it at each person, because each person you deal with on it is going to come with a different level. And even if you're in a group setting, you'll be able to tell, like, oh, that person gets it. You're not getting it at all. And you probably, so I don't think there's a universal answer. I think you just got to take it case by case basis. Yeah. Overall, just try and stay patient. And, and if I feel someone's crossed the line, I'll say, yo, hey, that's not cool. What you just said or what you just did. You're not, that's not where we are in this. Like, you can't, stay in shallow waters. This is the deep end. You gotta stay in the shallow.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, bro. Like I agree with you wholeheartedly. I've been in situations, especially with what we're doing here at Midway. Like basically what we're trying to do is bring the culture to people who don't, really understand it. And I get into these conversations with people and I can tell like they're interested but don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. So like Cochise said, like you have to read the temperature of the room. It's really important. I remember when I was trying to sell myself as a teacher to an establishment that needed culture, like that needed the culture. And so I was talking to this lady. She seemed super into what I was telling her, and she was, but she just did not understand the importance of our culture, the importance of hip hop culture, and versus the culture that they were selling, which was rock. You know what I mean? And yeah, she could listen to me for hours talk about how important the elements are to kids and the reason why hip hop is so important to the world and why it's so big around the world is because of these elements that kids are attracted to. Like she was just like, yeah, okay, and nothing, So I agree with you, man. Read the temperature of the room, and find out if they're trying to use it to either gain something to further them, or are they using it to try to hurt you? Because they will use it against you too.
Oh yeah, they will use your textbook definition right against you.
Yeah.
In an instant.
And it's weird because for us it probably means one thing, and for them it probably means something totally different.
Right.
So explaining it to them, they won't even understand why this is important. It's almost kind of like I started thinking about, like, when you were asking me the question, I started thinking about words that we use that don't offend us, but words that others can use that might be offensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and you
definitely.
have to explain them why that's offensive, but when you use it, it's not offensive. Or there's words that I don't say anymore that I used to say all the time. I'm like, man, like, that word's so offensive now only because they made it mean something. It didn't mean nothing to us. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
it meant nothing. Oh, you did some bogus to me? Get your out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I can't even bring myself to say it because I understand what it means to the world now. It didn't mean that before. So, I mean, it's just real. The culture, first of all, big props to the culture. The culture is awesome. Our culture is super awesome.
It's amazing.
I don't if they don't understand it at all.
Inclusive.
I actually wish they didn't understand it, because what they understood was it wasn't going away. So we need to make money from it. And that's the reason why it is the way it is now. So, I'm still glad that we have our inner circle.
Right.
And it's still good with us. Like, yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
No, do you guys see that meme? It's a Spider-Man. It's the Spider-Man poster where what's it called? Venom is taking over. So it's Spider-Man and his hand is black and Venom's is starting to take over his arm. And it said, the meme said, when your black friend finally calls you the N-bomb, NIDDA, right? And he's all like, he looks all excited, right?
Oh, the internet has zero chill. Zero.
Hey, and the internet every single
man. Who sits back and thinks of these things? Like, I thought like my random thoughts were weird, but I guess I don't make memes out of my random thoughts because it's quite. Maybe I should. Maybe I should get into the meme game because
we might have to sit down to have a brainstorming session.
I guess the Spider-Man memes have been a thing because they're doing a lot with a lot of the Spider-Man, the old posters of Spider-Man. I guess they said they were horrible. So I think I saw something that said Spider-Man. You know that movie Ma? That just
I've seen the Terrence Howard Spider-Man.
Oh, the Mang ones are always awesome.
Hey man.
That's hilarious.
Cochise, how did you come up with your name?
Yeah.
I come from that long list of changing my name every season type rapper. I used to be that guy. Like, every time the wind blew, that was a new name. Like, oh, I'm MC 20 degrees outside because I'm cold. You know, like I was that guy. But then when I finally settled on Cochise Soulstar, it was inspired by both the movie Coolie High, but also the name itself belonged to an Indian warrior who never gave up the fight. And so I liked that. And then I had a friend whose mom was like the first person I ever met in my life that was into auras and stuff. But it seemed like she took an acid trip in like the 60s and just never came back down.
Oh shit.
And she was like, "You have the soul of a star," and I was just like, Cochise, Soulstar. And there it was.
Yeah,
Bam.
given.
Yep.
I remember back in the day, back in the probably 70s or something. Like people used to say Cochise all the time. Like
it was
just like, bro, hey, what's up, Cochise?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was slang. It was 70s slang, and that's when I found that out. That just made me even more into it. Because I was like, yep, that's me. I got it right there.
So you just got through saying that you went through a bunch of names. Can you name some of the names you?
This is gonna be good.
Yeah.
Every time they laugh, every time they laugh, trying to change the subject, you know there's some good stuff there.
Let's see. I was Joe Cool at one point.
Okay.
I was Quest, and then I became Quest 1. Then I became Quest 1 the Infinite. Then I became IQ for Infinite Quest. That was a thing. I was for a brief second, I was MC Spark because I thought I was gonna be the Spark. Whatever that means. Whatever it means
to you.
And then that was about it. And then like I got some random names for a while, like people just kind of random names. Like my old neighborhood by 87th in Dorchester, a lot of cats called me Gilligan because of the day I wore a red turtleneck, and like that was the only thing they fixated on. So people called me Gilligan for like 3 years straight. I was not a fan. Not a fan.
That wasn't your rap
See
name.
what happens when you don't make up your mind?
It wasn't my rap name.
He gonna ride for us, Joe.
But right, you come around like, oh, they gonna rap and ass Gilligan. Just like
just throw into it. Right? Somebody get the Gilligan's Island theme song and make a beat out of it.
These days I'm up for the fun, so I would do it just for the love.
Risky got you.
I would do it for the love, but then then I just kind of settled on Cochise. It was like, that's it. There's nothing else. And then when Versus the Future came out, it became Captain Cochise Soulstar. But that was like kind of because of the album, and then the Captain part stuck. So so some people actually called me Captain.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go ahead and interject here. If I ever hear you talk about Spanish folks with a lot of names, it's gonna be you and me.
Oh, wait, no.
Cochise, Superstar, Soulstar, Captain.
Nah, man. Because you guys,
that's a lot of hyphenation.
No, man. Because like you go to like a Mexican event and be like Lupe y otro Lupe.
Maria de los Santos.
Right, and you can't mix Maria Gutierrez with Maria Gomez. So that's a problem.
You will get cut. You better remember how many Marias are in there.
And I don't. I don't. That's why I don't even pretend. I'm like, I'm here with my friend, and they're like, "Who's your friend?" I like, John. Because there's someone in there named John.
So you were just about to start talking. Well, you said something about the album that people called you Captain from.
Versus the Future.
Sure. How many albums have you made?
There is as the soloist, I've made 3. There's Versus the Future, the Herc Manual, and then there's Hidden Gems and Live Moments. And then that was all I made for a while, and that's kind of where the excitement came from. And then I have been slowly but surely working on a labor of love called Not Dead Yet. It's faced so many setbacks and had so many issues. Yeah. And then I destroyed it myself not that long ago because I just thought I thought lyrically it was whack.
Mm.
I had listened to everything I had recorded with the exception of like 3 songs. I'm like, this is trash. Like I can do better. And so I'm in a rewriting stage, and it's kind of odd because I did something I don't normally do, which is I gave myself a direction on this album.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've tried to color within the lines that I've set, and I had to kind of knock some of those walls down. I had to start going back to like, let me just go from the gut and not so much say, this is what I want to say at this moment, right here, right now, instead of let it flow out and just let kind of whatever happens, and then push it from there. But I think I was being way too controlling, way too, I'm going to write this song tonight, no matter what type deal. And I think I was putting unnecessary pressure on myself. And I wasn't happy with the outcome. So I had to scrap it.
So people who don't know you, where can they hear music from you?
I am on SoundCloud and also Bandcamp, and this August, probably like late August, early September, I'm going to put the whole catalog, including some unreleased things from that time that no one has ever heard.
Sweet.
I'm going to put all that on Spotify and iTunes.
That's
so
dope.
Like, and it's just going to be out there for the streams, and then. I'm working on a project. I'm still working on Not Dead Yet, but I'm also working on a project with Mark G and Aloe. Kind of like a little vintage. It's definitely going to be in that boom bap pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's a lot of scratch hooks, and just kind of like that whole like this was a composition book inside of your backpack type deal. Because that's actually that's kind of like where for me. I hate to date myself, but that's me right there. That if it sounded like Premier Pete Rock did it in 1993, that's my vibe.
Yeah.
And I accept that. And what's great about that is that I was actually able to parlay that into writing for other people. So I've on the low been like songwriting for R&B people. I've even written a couple trap joints for some people because they paid me to write them.
What?
Hey,
I like how you said that.
Yeah, they paid me. Hey, they sent me the beat. It sounded like Gucci Mane. I gave him Gucci Mane.
Hey.
But it's kind of fun, But I feel a lot more free lately in my writing, and I think that's actually going to help Not Dead Yet. Really come to full vision. And also I kind of found out that I kind of like recording at studios that no one I know has ever been to. And I feel like with the exception of Aloe's crib, Aloe is dope. So let me just say that Aloe is dope. But I think with some of the joints for Not Dead Yet, since they have such a personal nature, I found it better to go to like something a little more clinical where like the person engineering it is not my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did some of the Not Dead Yet stuff for someone who I was close to, and he's like, I can't hear you talk about this, man. I can't, like, this is. Yeah. He's like, that's some real stuff. So I think I've learned that it's better for me to put the proper emotion into it. So I need someone on the other end that's just like, that sounds good. That sounds bad. That sounds good. But like, I felt you. Like, let's smoke this blunt and drink this brew because I feel your pain. Right. I've needed to go play someplace where it's a little more clinical. And that has helped. That has helped as well. So, so for all those who are like, oh, he's on some bullshit, Not Dead Yet, it's never coming out. It's coming out. It's gonna happen. I just had to reevaluate the process.
That's dope.
Because if I felt it was mediocre, I can only imagine what other people think. I know they say, you're your own worst critic, but I actually felt like, hey, this is garbage. So, and I was honest with myself about it. They always say you be honest with your friends, like tell your friend he sound bad. I did that for myself on this one. like this doesn't sound like me. So,
Yo, you had mentioned Aloe, so
yes.
I wanna big up Aloe and J Dot. They just released an album called The Vintage on Bandcamp.
Oh yes.
So
Oh yes.
if anybody's, well, you guys are listening, try to find The Vintage on Bandcamp. Listen to that shit. It's pretty dope. It's from Chicago.
I will. I need to get a picture of the J Dot face.
Oh yeah, you know the J Dot face is just smash your face like
but just that that I'm surprised J Dot is not a meme.
he should be.
Speaking of memes, I'm surprised J Dot is not a meme.
Yeah. He the looks that he give people is amazing. He's always like that. I've known that cat since college, and J Dot will give a face, and it'll kill a vibe in the room. Like you know exactly what he's thinking.
Right.
I remember the other day we were somewhere listening to somebody play records, and the blend wasn't all that cool, and I saw his face. He was like, I was like, bro, you shouldn't look like that. So he fixed his face real fast. But yeah, man, Jay can't hide anything.
The J Dot face is eternal, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's eternal. That needs to be memorialized on like several things.
Yeah. You know what J Dot face? You know what the J Dot face is? It's the gas face.
It is the gas face. You're right. It is the gas face.
It's the gas face. And like every time he does it, somebody deserves it. Like that guy who like the meme guy with the guy with the hat turned backwards in his face, like
yeah. Yeah.
That should be Jada. Like his face should be.
He does give a mean gas face.
So big ups to Aloe and J-Dot on their release for The Vintage. They've been working really hard on it.
Hey, real quick, what's it like to work with Aloe?
It's dope. Okay. Of all the people that I've worked with on music, I rank Aloe and Audacity at high levels, but for different reasons. Mm-hmm. Working with Aloe is like working with like this guy who is like he knows years ahead of time what he wants this song that he's working on with you to sound like. And then you think that little scratch cut that you've done there is dope. Like, hey, my rough draft of this song is so dope. And then, and then Aloe comes back with the finished product.
He's like, stop touching my song.
And I'm just like, whoa. I'm like, when did that sound come into effect? I didn't hear that the first time we did it. He's like, it wasn't there. I'm like, did you know you were gonna do this? He was like, yeah, I kind of thought about it as you were rhyming. I thought about this. He did that to me. He did that to me twice now. He did it. First time he did it to me was on Al Tamper's interlude on the album Fight Back. Mm-hmm. I have an interlude on his album. Let me tell you, the beat that I rhymed to was dope as it was. And it was straight, it was bare bones, stripped down. And it was just right up my alley. I was like, okay. Then Aloe added the Star Trek sound effects in, like I had phased in, teleported into the song, all sorts of extra lasers and whatnot, accenting words. And I was just like, how did you know that this is what I would do to this? How did you know?
How did you know?
I feel that, and like I said, I alternately feel that way about Audacity. When Audacity sends me a beat, sometimes I'm like, how did you know I wanted that beat right now? Like that kind of beat. How did you know? And big ups to him, his new project, King Shit. Big up Waffle Gang, because that's my crew. So I gotta do the obligatory crew represent. Got to shout out Waffle Gang. But yeah, he does a similar thing, man. Like he'll send me a beat, and it's like, man, this is like the perfect beat. I needed this beat at this moment. That is dope. So yeah, it's dope working with both of those gents. I've worked with a lot of cats, and I like everyone who I've worked with. I have big high respect for. Mark G and Aloe make beautiful music together. Watch for that. Watch for that pairing. They do some beautiful things together. I would definitely watch for that. And and also big up to the homie That Business. He's putting out a new album, Built for the Struggle. I think it's gonna be a banger. I'm a big fan. That's someone on the scene who I'm a fan of. And it's odd sometimes we get to work with people whose music you admire. Like the first time I actually got to rock with Sean Doe on stage one time, I was like, so this is what it's like. like whoa. Like this dude had my music for all of 3 minutes and look what he's doing to it. Like this is amazing.
That's dope. Respect, bro.
You know,
hey, how many times does Sean Doe say, "Oh, Sean Doe's in the house"?
He has never done that on a set that he's worked with for me. I don't know if he's done that. I don't know if he's done that to you, but he's never done that to me.
That's hilarious.
Every time I go to talk, he does it to me.
the first time that the horns happened to me on stage, I did not know what to do. It actually threw me way off because I had only seen it on TV or heard it on like Funkmaster Flex tapes. So the first time I'm rhyming, I don't even remember the first DJ to like do it during my set. But it caught me off guard. Like I honestly thought an air horn went off. Like I looked to the side of the stage. Like what's like is there a riot? Like what's happening here? Like I was like it literally. I lost all MC professionalism because I like straight stopped rapping. It was like blah 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 blah. Huh? Just like the whole look off. Like straight threw me off.
I mean, speaking of throwing off through shows, you hear that? Do you guys hear that?
I didn't hear anything.
No. Okay, you don't hear that.
Are you trying to throw off the show? Is that what you're trying to prove right now?
No, actually, the Elote man is his horn is throwing me off.
Hey, with all seriousness in my heart, how are you still on this show?
Yo, I was.
Elote man is right outside. We'll wait. We'll wait. Sean is like, I don't know what's happening with my internet.
He went to the Elote man.
But yeah. So how do you like doing shows?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Being live on stage is something that I just absolutely enjoy. For that 15 to 60 minutes, however long I get when I'm allowed to rock, I love it. It is. I get excited by the I know a lot of people like they don't like all the eyes on them. I like it. I when I grab that mic, cause see, when the transformation happens, when I stop being Sean and start being the captain, it's like a different thing. Like Sean doesn't want anyone to look at him. He wants to just walk invisibly by everybody. But the Cochise is like, yo, I'm here. You're going to hear me out. I got these songs and we're doing this and we're doing it now. And you're going to be in tune with it. And that's why, like, when I perform, I always try and be with that guy that brings the audience in. Like, give them something to chant, give them something to do. I don't like a lot of dead air. It's one of the reasons that I don't do a lot of talking between songs. I don't do a lot of explaining as to what's happening next. It's like, hey, buckle up. Here's the roller coaster. We're starting and you're just on. Yeah. You're just on for the ride. Because also I understand crowd dynamics and I understand how it is. We are underground MCs. And the catch-22 of being an underground MC is that chances are each time you perform, there's only about 5 to 6 people who know your song. So you can't depend on the popularity of your cut. You can't depend on a marketing campaign. You have to market yourself in that time slot. I got 15 minutes to sell myself to this crowd. So that's why I don't waste any time. That's why I don't do a lot of extraneous talking between songs. It's like, we're here, buckle up. And with the songs, I give the crowd something to chant back at me. You know, I bring them in like, hey, this is what we're doing right. Here's what we're doing right now. When I say this, you say that, or you know, I make the hook something that they can gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Because as an underground MC, especially if you've been doing it for years, you know that you're selling yourself each time you face a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have home court advantage where like, hey, all these people know me. I'm good here. That's like, I think of Subterranean as my home court. Like when I get to perform at Subterranean, there's never any hesitancy, nervousness, anything. It's like, this is home for me. Bam, let's do it. So, you know, but any place else, I always look at it as like, I'm selling myself. Like, hey, how can I get you to remember me when this is over and go follow me on social media or go follow my streams. So I kind of look at it like that. So, because you know you don't have the luxury of having a number one hit and then the crowd just says the song for you, you know. So, but I love it. I love that energy each time, and I love being able to go into a place and say this isn't even my normal crowd, and they're about to rock with me. So,
yeah.
Talk to me about the very first time you went on stage.
That's what I was about to ask.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like after you do a handful of shows and everything, and you got your nice little flow, maybe you got a little chip on your shoulder, all that stuff. But that first time, you almost peed your pants.
My actual first time rapping in front of a crowd was at a talent show in the 6th grade in the 80s. I had the Casio keyboard that you could sample your voice in. It just come out, and they said the only they said the only way that you know they would allow rap if it had a positive message. So like you know we had to do like a say no to drugs rap or say no to drinking, and me and my boy Peter Kincaid came up with a song. And I still remember most of it. It's something I'm an MC chiller when I rap on the mic. I drink Coke, not Miller. Don't mess with the needle. Don't mess with the pill. It's time to stop illing and it's time to chill. That was like, and in the keyboard we had sampled ourselves saying "say no," so we were like "say no, say no."
That's awesome.
So you know, and we didn't get booed, and I did like some mediocre breakdancing, and
that's hilarious.
And you know, and a couple of the teachers thought it was awesome, and then after that, it was kind of like I wanted to do it again, and so then just like the honing of the skills came, and everything fell after that. But my first time doing the show as an adult was a different story because my first show was so impromptu. I pretty much was like asked to fill in for someone right on the spot.
Wow.
They were like, hey, my friend told me you rap. Can you get we got a slot? Do you want to rap? And I was like my song, and like me being like an idiot, like my songs. Like, you know, like being like the biggest idiot at that moment. Like, you want me to rap my songs? Like, okay. You know, I was just up there. I was just so happy to be there at that moment. Like, I was probably had like the cheese. Like for that moment, I probably had like the biggest smile on the planet.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like didn't know anything about proper mic control. Didn't know anything about feedback. So you know, they handed me the mic. I didn't know anything about monitors at that time. So I'm like the worst person ever. It's like everywhere I walk. And they're like, come away from the speakers, come away from the speakers. And I'm like, oh, but I can only hear my voice in this one up here. They're like, that's how it works, asshole. You know?
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah. Like it was like I was just like up there, like just the biggest goober.
You
oh,
go ahead.
But eventually I got better at it, and you know I was in like a couple groups, and like being in groups kind of helped kind of helped me with stage mechanics, and then then after learning stage mechanics and then breaking out and going out on my own, it was like, okay, I got this now. But yeah, I had some moments though. In the early days, I had some moments where I was just the biggest doofus. Like, how's it all work? What's a monitor? I wrote these songs. Where can I record them? This thing? Okay. I want to rap to the It's Real beat by Milkbone. Let's make that happen.
Oh snap. Speaking of Milkbone, we'll go back to Milk, but I have to say something about Milkbone at the end of the show. So
okay.
That's crazy. You just mentioned Milkbone.
Be aware.
I still freestyle over that beat sometimes. Hey, that beat was dope. The beat was dope.
Yeah.
That piano key when it came in, everyone recognized it.
Respect Milkbone.
respect Milkbone.
Respect. Anytime you still rapping over a beat from back in the day, yeah.
Hey, I still do that, and I still do Afu Ra's Whirlwind Through Cities.
Yeah, Whirlwind Through Cities was a thing. You should talk to Risky. Ask him to tell you his Afu Ra story.
Okay.
Next time you talk to him, you like Afu Ra story. Yeah.
And next time you talk to D Nick of the Microphone Misfits, ask him about his on tour with J. Rue the Damager story.
Oh, so yeah. The Damager, how he get down. Yeah. Luckily, this is a show about Chicago and not about respect J. Rue the Damager. I'm not going on tour with that nigga ever in life. Y'all gotta pay me big money to deal with that shit. So
the paper.
You right? You were talking about Sub T and how that's home. Yes, how important is Sub T?
Right now, I would say it's the true last bastion of weekly hip hop and hip hop supported events in the city. While yes, I know other venues throw hip hop events, I performed at many of them. Sub T is the most important. Once the Blue Note became a biker bar or whatever, a heavy metal bar, whatever it is now, and once the Double Door closed, the Double Door stopped doing hip hop a long time ago, but once that shift happened, Sub T became the only thing that was left. Like Tuesday nights is so important.
Yeah.
It's the only place that I know of that consistently always supports local artists. And let's be honest, we're like local artists we aren't bringing them big bucks, so they this is truly it's truly on the love,
No. Nothing's happening on Tuesday nights. Not even The Bachelor. So I'm kidding, Sub T. I'm kidding.
So I think it's very important. I would like to see another night become like a solid night. I mean, I know like there's Hello Hip Hop that happens. I think every third Wednesday or something Wednesday of the month. I think another weekly night is needed. Maybe not at Sub T, but just for the culture in general.
Yeah.
I think if someone could find a venue and just nail it down, and the problem with other attempts to do that is that they've always tried to outdo Sub T or build themselves as better than Sub T.
Yeah.
And that's I don't think that's the way that's not the way to go. Yeah. That's not the way to go, because here's the thing: Sub T doesn't have to go through growing pains with a venue. That 606 is solidified. That night, as long as Sub T is owned by who is owned by, that night is happening until that venue closes down.
Yeah.
So when you go somewhere else, you have to grow into that. So you can't come in and say we're going to be better than Sub T. right now. You're not even better than you're not better than two guys beatboxing in their bedroom.
Right.
You know, you
Right.
you have to give yourself a chance to grow. You have to market it right. You have to put the right people behind it and the right people into it. Sub T has had a chance to grow through eras, through decades. I mean, this night was happening before I could even legally get into Sub T. It seems like, at least it felt that way to me. You know, so I think that it's important and that it needs it. I like the fact that it gets support from multiple generations.
Yes.
That the new heads as well as the old heads show up there and interact with each other. And so for that I think is very important, and I just think it's culturally important to the city. It is the longest running hip hop event ever, Guinness Book of World Records, and it's just such a dope night, and there's so much love in that building, even on the nights where things don't go right. And I've been there for some of those nights where things don't go right.
Yeah.
But it's still there. Shadow and Jory do a great job. Annihilation does a great job.
Respect.
You know, so DJ Boy Wonder, great job.
Respect.
Like, so I think it deserves patronage, and it deserves to be an indelible, unmoving part of the scene. And as long as the venue will have them.
That's dope. I agree with everything you just said, man. And if you think about the evolution of hip hop in Chicago, like there's not many places. Like, you remember there was a time at Wicker Park, you can go and you can find a place to hear hip hop.
Yeah.
You can't do that in Wicker Park anymore. It's not really embraced by people like that. So, like, the South Side really didn't have it or doesn't have it. And if it's not in Wicker Park, where is it?
Right.
Man, where is it? Like, you tell me where another hip hop, like you can just go and listen to classic hip hop. Like, you know what? What's crazy is that if you watch these new little restaurants that's owned by people that don't look like you or me, they play
a lot of hip hop. A lot.
They
Furious Spoon.
Like, I walked in a bogus chicken place, right? And all they played was like Wu-Tang and stuff like I was almost upset because I walk in there and they're playing my music, like, without me being there, like, or the acceptance of me being there. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah, spend that money. I can be in there for 10 minutes, eat my chicken, and bounce. But
right,
you're using me. You know what I mean? So
you're using my culture to bring people in to get your chicken.
Yeah, and then you're selling it like, oh yeah, we play curse words. Come
right.
And it's almost kind of like it's really almost kind of like I don't know if I'm taking it too far, but it's almost like come be a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it looked like to me. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, no, I feel you.
So the big thing is that big ups to Sub T for keeping the culture alive. Big ups to the elders that's there, that's keeping the culture. Man, Shadow, bruh, like I love you, brother. Like,
yeah, like, real talk, Shadow, like, real talk.
Yeah,
like Boy Wonder, Anai, like everybody that's involved with 606. Respect Artet, bam. Like you know what I'm saying? Thank you to all the story, all the 606 cats, because they are really trying to take our shit, monetize it, and keep it. Like that's exactly what and we need to do a better job. And I think that's the big reason why I'm so happy to be a part of what we're doing here with Midway is it's just owning our culture.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And I think while the monetizing has already started.
Oh, yeah.
But the monetizing is cemented. I mean, it's not started. It's cemented. It's happening. You know, to piggyback off what you were saying. I mean, even what was that on the Daylight album, The Grind Date? The guy was talking about Buster said it himself. Like, hip hop is the only music where people don't even have to like it, can eat off of it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of that. What I am glad to see these days is that record companies, for the most part, for the underground and mid-level acts, get cut out.
Yeah.
There's a lot more independence these days. And us Gen X boom bap kids who grew up in the have to get a record deal era actually need to pay a lot of props to the millennials who kind of set the streaming era up.
Yeah.
They set that up because they looked at it like we not gonna beg for, because the days of some record exec sitting in the back of a club watching you, that's done. That's over. That doesn't happen anymore. Doesn't happen. The internet became the CD backroom club you had to play, and a lot of us Gen X boom backpack kids were slow to that because we were still like, hey, I'm gonna do my album, press up 500 CDs, circulate it around, sell it, give it away. It's gonna get in someone's hand, and that's still valid. You should still do hard copies, without a doubt. But we would be fools to deny what the millennials have done with the streams and how they've taken that and said, I don't need a label to get popular. I can get people stream it. And then out of nowhere, you get some cat you never heard of is suddenly like topping the charts.
Right.
You know, and
Old Town Road.
That. Oh my God. That song makes me want to set buildings on fire.
Yo, here's a works. There's a woman from Chicago that helps with the choreographing and a lot of stuff that goes on with that one song, Old Town Road. Mm-hmm. There's a young lady from Chicago that's intricate and it's just integral.
Really?
Like, yeah. So you find the good stuff out of everything. And
thank you. I did not know that.
When somebody's from Chicago is winning, then we're all winning. You know what I mean?
You gotta support. Yeah.
No, I can get behind that.
So play some Red Dead. Get your old.
I love playing Red Dead. I love playing Red Dead. That's the only game you get to kill clan members on. Oh, yeah. Like you get to you get to walk up to a clan member and put a bullet in his brain. That is a thing.
Yeah. Yo, respect my brother. My brother made it possible for me to get Red Dead, so I got to go get Red Dead. But I'm definitely trying to do that one.
Yeah, I don't even feel I don't even feel bad about it. Like I used to be that cat that when I played like super violent video games, I'd be like, oh, if that person was real, I feel real bad right now. Nope.
My car just toppled on this guy 3 times. Oh,
right.
Not that clan member.
Nope. No, I've done even kamikazes. Like, oh, it's a bunch of y'all back here. Let me just blow this dynamite up real quick.
That's awesome.
Let's set it. We all going down tonight.
If you go, that's how you want to go.
Blaze of glory. Blaze of glory.
That's it.
With Old Town Road playing in the background and me lighting dynamite.
My Chicago sister telling me how to move. Boom.
Right. Telling me how to do the dance.
Be like, hell yeah, dude. Did you always want to be an MC? Like when you were shorty, were you just sitting there like, yeah, I need to be on stage?
I mean, at first I just wanted to like develop the skills. I never really thought about I didn't think about the performing part much until that talent show. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I wanted to do it more, but then I didn't get a lot of opportunity after that until I got older, so I kind of went back into I just want to be a good MC
Mhm.
type. I just want to develop this skill set. Whatever comes from it, I want to develop this skill set. So, and I just kind of kept with that. And then once again, the performance bug started to bite me throughout high school and then to my early college years. And then from there, like I said, once I started performing with groups, it just took hold. Like, this is something I want to do. I love doing it. I love the feeling. And I guess because I never really wanted to be anything other than myself, I didn't really seek the fame aspect of it. It wasn't important for me that I got like famous for it. Like, if it happened, I was kind of the mind state like, hey, if someone comes along and says, hey, I'm gonna put some money into you and let's do this, great. If not, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people kind of they either get really disappointed that they never blew up and never got like the fame, and so they walk around like bitter, like I'm doper than all these people and I never got my shot, you know, or whatever. Or there's those of us who like just really love the craft. And I have found a way to monetize the craft for myself. You know, I didn't write people's songs for free. I got paid for that. You know, I get paid when I perform, but I never sought like, oh, I want to see Cochise Soulstar in every household across the nation. I want white suburban kids to bump my music so I can be the next big thing. That was never really my goal. If I achieved any level of fame from it, then I would just I would accept it, because I honestly never saw myself going further than a Talib Kweli type. Honestly. And I don't think that's shortchanging myself in the least bit. I just never sought fame. I never wanted to be famous for it.
Yeah.
I wanted to have the skill set. I wanted to make music because I love the music. And if other people loved it and bought into it, great. If only 100 people bought into it, also great. You know, I've been, you know, I can honestly say the music has immortalized me. So long after I'm gone, somewhere out here in this digital world, you'd be able to stumble across a Cochise Soulstar song. So there you have it, you know.
I like it.
So yeah, I mean, it was, I love emceeing though. Like, I love it. It's why I write every day, you know.
Yeah.
If a bar comes to me, it's getting jotted down. An idea comes to me, it gets jotted down. The best though is when I get a chance to irritate those around me. When I when I have a line, and like, you know, and I don't want to forget it, and I don't have a way to write it down, so I'm like literally rapping at someone, like, you know, I'm rapping at my son, like, I'm saying this at you. I need you to remember it.
He's like, Dad, just pack my damn lunch. I'm hungry. I'm late.
Remember these verses. Remember these bars.
Or the best is like, you know, when I'm really trying to remember a song and I'm just rapping the same thing over and over again around everybody, coworkers, wife, everybody, just like you about to get these bars because I'm trying to remember this song. And you know, I'm a proud stoner, so, you know, of course, like the time I wrote a song about it, and it was real short, but I had, you know, in true stoner fashion, I was having the hardest time remembering it, you know. Like, and
which
so
is hilarious because your career started with a "Just Say No."
I know. I know. Mrs. Wilson is probably so disappointed in me that
Miss Wilson probably high as hell right now too.
you know, maybe she is. Maybe she is.
Good on you, Miss Wilson.
Good on you, Miss Wilson. I am an advocate of it. I believe in its medicinal quality. So
yeah,
that's just me, you know. Recent studies show it's not so darn harmful.
Right.
So
right.
And it's going to be legal in my state soon. So there's also that.
That works. It
does work. Now, if we can get a lot more pot convictions overturned, I know some are happening, so I'm not playing those to the left, but Let's get some of those brothers that's been locked up for a long time over a few grams. Let's get those people out.
Right.
It's time. It's
crazy that. I mean, Cat Williams said it best. He goes, "It's a plant. It's a plant that if you just so happen to set it on fire."
It's a plant that grows in the wild.
I was watching a scientist. He was talking about marijuana. He's like, there is nothing on the planet that is trying as hard as marijuana to be a part of your life. Because you can do everything from make paper, make clothing. It's medicinal. It makes you see things. It's whatever. It's trying really hard to be a part of your life.
Well,
make you a healthier person.
The original slight on hemp and pot was because of the paper industry.
Yep.
The paper, what was it, like the 1800s or late 1800s, 1900s, whenever the paper industry was really, it's hard to imagine that there used to be like, the paper wars and paper companies going at each other.
Right.
It's like, it's paper.
Right.
it's everywhere.
Yeah, we take that for granted.
Yeah, we take that for granted. But because hemp and marijuana plants made paper much more cheaply and efficiently, that the lumber industry and the paper industry were the ones who kind of like pushed pot into that illegal territory.
Right.
Right.
And you know how they did it. I know we've talked about this a couple of times on this show, but they went in the newspaper because the same dude that owned all the paper companies, he owned the newspaper company.
Right.
And so he took out some ads from his own paper company saying, if we don't make this illegal, all the brown kids and black kids are going to come fucking white women.
Yeah.
And that's what did it.
Nothing like that traditional racism.
I know.
Tasty flavor.
Right. And people want to say,
did
why are you bringing that up?
Did that come with a side of Confederate flag?
How cool would that be if they started making flags out of hemp?
So you just smoke it? Because we burned it.
Yeah.
Constitutional crisis there. It's like, will I go to jail for smoking my weed flag? Oh, here it comes.
Cochise Soulstar, this or that. Would you rather burn some plants or vape?
Burn the plants.
Nice.
Cochise
Burn the plants.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Boy, he's wearing a shirt.
I know. Aloe put.
Uh-oh, we lost him. You literally ripped the universe in half with that question.
Exactly what the fuck just happened. Oh, he just beamed somewhere else.
He's like, Scotty, beat me up, Scotty.
Yo. All right, so where do we go from here, Carlos?
I had a couple more.
First.
I had a couple more. Hey, Cochise, pay your light bill or pay your internet bill. We can keep going. Hey, we can keep going till he shows up to see what happens. And I'm teasing, man. I hope people realize that, like, when I joke around, it's all fun.
No, I think people do. People
like, what was it back in the day when who did we have? Was it Griffin was on? And he was talking trash about, oh, look at this dude with a microphone coming in here with a game show voice and all this other stuff, right? And then his internet locked up. You know you can't open the door like that on me. You're gonna talk shit. Your internet, the wheel, the little hamster that runs your internet.
Oh shit! All right, we'll give him a little chance to get back on. Oh,
Hey, Al Temper. Hey, while we're here, real quick shout out to my uncle Al.
oh yeah.
Here, brother Al Temper. What's going on, brother? I know Al pays his internet bills. When the progress wheel stops, then it's a wrap. Yo, for real, Al be cracking me up on this internet stuff, boy. He gets on Instagram especially. And like the last one he did, some old dude was driving and bashed into about 25 cars or something and left his car in the middle of the road. And Al was sitting there like he was reporting. I'm here on the northwest side. This dude just decided to crash into 25 cars. And here's his car right here. The ambulance just took him away, blah, blah, blah. I'll be back. After these messages. Oh, he was still in the car. Damn.
Oh, I'm back.
Yeah.
I did not know what happened.
It was the this or that. So when I said Star Wars or Star Trek, your shit just froze the fuck up.
I told him he tore the universe in half.
Almost. It was a thing.
It was a thing.
It was a thing. All of a sudden the internet decided I wasn't worthy anymore.
Hey, Doe.
Yo.
Told you.
You have to pick one, Star Wars or Star Trek.
Star Wars.
Boom.
Easy.
Cool.
Easy.
Boom.
What else you got?
Would you rather host a podcast or perform on stage?
That was the one I was going to use.
I could do both at the same time.
Shut your face.
Podcast.
You a damn lie.
You might have something.
That beat drops. He's like, yo, nerd bombs. Nerd bombs.
All right, well, I don't have any more this or that's.
I got one more. Just
Okay.
to go into Geek Fest here. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
That's a good move.
Easy. And I mean, I got love for DC too, but Marvel's my stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Here's one from the audience. Al Tamper, shout out yet again. This or that, papers or wraps?
If they're hemp wraps.
More weed.
Yeah, wraps.
That's you want to talk about redundancy.
Yeah. I put my marijuana inside of a hemp wrap, and I'm unashamed.
That's a pro tip right there.
Right.
He's probably rapping. He's probably rapping while he's rapping. Look at that. Damn rappers.
Hey, Cochise, if people want to catch up to you, give us all your stuff, like everything from the podcast to the music to Instagram, all that stuff.
For sure. Starting with the podcast, you can find us we're the Fly Nerd Group. We are all over, like I said, every place that you can find a podcast. We're on it. Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play. We're out there circulating everywhere. You can find me on Instagram under Soul Photo, and that's SOULFOTO. You can find me there on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. It's Cochise Soulstar. I got a music page set up. You can find me there. And then and then you can find my music, Cochise Soulstar, on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. And like I said, in late August, early September, the entire catalog will be out on Spotify and Apple Music.
Groovy. How about you, Sean Joe?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at DJ SEANDOE and on Facebook under Rasan Sean Doe Hawkins. Also, I want to kind of plug a couple of things that just came out. If you go to Machine Wash Music on Bandcamp or look up Machine Wash Music, we got some new music come out from a group called Black Magic. Also, like it was a remix project that happened. Seb Severe and I think his name is Stepchild did a remix for this awesome song that actually Uncle L is a part of. Uncle L and A Billy Free. That's their group. Nice. It's super dope. We just released the Essentials project, or a single called Duck and Cover from Kenny Keys and E Brown. You know Kenny Keys. If you hear Kenny Keys beat, you know that shit is bananas. If you listen to Encyclopedia Brown, then Marg is bananas. So go listen to that. And also, we released a couple of vinyls, or we released a vinyl for Maintenance Crew. And also, last but not least, we got a project coming out. MC Decay, DBIC, and Tone Live have a project called Gas Station Sushi coming out, and it's super dope. So
nice.
All Machine Wash Music.
And if I could just add in one other thing, my Slump Gang family is doing big things. Big up to Sage. Shimakami Jazz was an amazing album. You can find that on Spotify. My boy Orlando Coolridge is dropping some new projects. So pretty much, if you're out there and you see that Slump 777 symbol, check that out. It'll be well worth your time. Those guys are doing some amazing things, and what I like about it is that they are that millennial generation, and they do it all. They have mastered the boom bap to the current style. There's not a style that they can't flex on.
That's
and nice. It's really dope.
That's dope.
So I highly recommend checking those cats out.
Excellent. Hey, you can find me at coconutjustice.com, Coconut Justice everywhere else. And I am going to do this and this. Where are you at? So if you follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/coconutjustice, you're going to see a finished version of that.
Oh.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now.
So, boom. So yeah, so you're gonna see that. I'm gonna finish that up, and I'll send that over to you if you would like. There, my new friend, Cochise.
I would love it. Thank you so much.
And as always, you can feel free to do anything you want with that, like make a t-shirt, make a hoodie, make some stretchy pants. Shadow.
Didn't Shadow make some bath mats too? Like, I do not want Shadow in my bathroom. I don't want.
Every time we have someone, they say, "Didn't he make this thing?" Right? Next thing you know, is Shadow's going to come out with like mufflers.
I told him last time I saw him, I said, you should do a line of urinal cakes.
What if he came out with mufflers that sounded like the way he talks? Like, rah, 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 rah.
I ain't playing with y'all.
Wow.
I like when he get his Martin Luther King Jr. wobble in his throat. That's like the best. That's like the best. Like when he get upset at somebody, like, don't take this motherfucking mic no more.
Big up, Shadow Master.
Big ups. I love that dude. Anyway, we are Midway Radio. You can find us at midwayradio.com, and it's part of the Midway documentary. Midway Doc across the board, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. So we're there. And if you don't mind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. All those little subscribe button clicks help us out. And go ahead and tell all your friends. Quick little shout out to Shure Microphone for hooking us up with some podcast mics and some lav mics that we use on the interviews. And
Nice.
also my boy Doug Imp for the intro music and the High Power Studios. I think
Nice.
they have high power everything.
Yeah, they do.
So High Power is killing the game. But yeah, shout out to Doug Imp. Quick little shout out to our brothers, DJ Risky Business and what's his name? The other one.
What's his rap name? What's
No, I was gonna say I was giving Ryan a hard time. When he listens to this, I want him to get nervous.
yeah.
What up, Ryan? What up, Risky? Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on again. And
It was fun. It was fun.
Thank you, bro.
yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Peace.